Um, First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakal Kadash. It's all praises to who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. Their true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai for his blood of his Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preaching this word in truth and sincerity, the men, women, and children that will be saved. I'm the brother Tazabah, the Great Millstone, Arizona Camp, Lord will, with another video to edify. And I had to go in on this article again, because I didn't read it. I looked at the video on it and it gave you the gist of the information, but peep this. It says Biden's transgender assistant health secretary nominee refuses questions on child sex change and confirmation hearing. And why would you refuse a conversation on something so drastic? Why would you refuse a conversation on something so drastic? It says Rachel, whose real name is Richard Levine, President Joe Biden's nominee for assistant health secretary, evaded questioning on his past support for child sex change during his Senate confirmation hearing, a move that left Grand Old Party GOP Senator Rand Paul outraged. Now I'm gonna play it, but before I do, peep this. Peep the comments that these stupid ass people make. It says right here. Look, it says online Rand Paul was met with an avalanche of condemnation, accused of spreading transphobic disinformation, which none of this was disinformation. The highest rating, one of the highest fields of suicide deaths are from the so-called LGBTQ community. They have the most the most gender confused, mentally confused people. Just because they try to suppress the number and act like it's not happening, it is happening. It says Paul, who is also a qualified physician, was dragged across the coals by liberals. Later in the hearing, Democratic Senator Patty Murray of Washington State accused Paul of making harmful misrepresentations about transgender children. And if he's a qualified physician, how in the hell is this other person going to sit here and say they're making something out to be wrong? You people are goddamn hypocrites, man. It says Paul tried to derail Richard Levine's historic confirmation hearing with transphobic disinformation, and it's not disinformation. It says Rand Paul by Nick Jack Pappas. It says Rand Paul just went into an unhinged transphobic rant when questioning Dr. Richard Levine, who was transgender. And it was in no transphobic rant. This dude was legit just against. This dude ain't against these homosexuals, man. These Edomites are homosexuals, but this dude was against the early onset sex change stuff about medication that's never been researched for that field, and they're just using it. Peep this.
Happened to them. And, if you've ever been around children, 14-year-olds can't make this decision. In the gender dysphoria clinic in England, 10% of the kids are between the ages of 3 and 10. We should be outraged that someone's talking to a 3-year-old about changing their sex. I can't vote for you if you can't.
Thank you so much, Senator Paul. Senator Levine.
Let me start up at this one. This is the longer one.
Genital mutilation has been nearly universally condemned. Genital mutilation has been condemned by the WHO, the United Nations Children's Fund, the United Nations Population Fund. According to the WHO, genital mutilation is recognized internationally as a violation of human rights. Genital mutilation is considered particularly egregious because, as the WHO notes, it is nearly always carried out on minors and is a violation of the rights of children. Most
You see,
genital
always carried out on minors and is a violation of the rights of children. Now, the scriptures talk about a man that is wounded in the stones. Deuteronomy 23 and 1, it says, he that is wounded in the stones, talking about your nuts, or he or hath his privy member cut off, which happens with that whole transgender sex change for male to female, shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. You see? The scriptures talk about somebody wounded in the stones. Now, you're not supposed to be doing this. But here it is. These people will sit here and say that, yes, you know, whenever it happens, it's always a damn child. It is considered a terrible, heinous crime. But here it is. There's a whole culture of them trying to promote that type of behavior throughout the world. And they know it comes with negative side effects.
mutilation is not typically performed by force, but as WHO notes that by social convention, social norm, the social...
See, and it's not performed by force, but social convention and social norm, right? That's what he said. Basically, people encouraging themselves, people being encouraged to do those things, right? Exodus 23 and 2, it says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. You see? You're following a multitude of evil to say, because through that, the scriptures tell you that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, right? Let me get that. Proverbs 12 and 26, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way the wicked seduces them, because a lot of Israelites are getting trapped up in this shit, man. Through a social norm, and people sitting there saying, oh, it's okay, you can do it, you know, you're strong. You know, look at, what is it called? Dwayne Wade's kid. Now that dude, little Boozy, he is a nigga all the way through, but hey, he saw exactly how far that extent could do, and look what happened when he talked against it. They shunned him. 50 Cent threatened to drop him from the label. You know? Because this stuff is not for life. You're telling me, you know, y'all won't let a 3-year-old drive a car. You won't let a 3-year-old drink liquor and buy liquor and smoke cigarettes, but you'll let him choose whether or not he wants to have his rod cut off? This is wicked, man. This is why the scriptures tell you, Matthew 7 and 13, it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because you going it all in these wide ways. When you look at how life is, it's man and woman, male and female, not all this man goes into woman. That doesn't really happen in nature like that. You know? But here it is, you devils want to sit here and put your landmark on everything, you know, changing the course of the world. The scriptures tell you the whole world setting out of course. And that's through this devil's rulership. It says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So, you know, you people aren't finding the straight and narrow gate, man. The difficult path, man. It's a difficult thing in these times to sit here and just be a straight male, because these people sit here and put this, especially if you're an Israelite, man, the straight so-called Negro mailman, they'll take your ass through the coals, man. You know? To have a thought process against the way these people think, man. It's a difficult thing.
Social pressure to conform, to do what others do and have been doing, as well as the need to be accepted socially and the fear of being rejected by the community.
Look,
American culture.
let me get this, man. Look, this is right. He talked about the social norm. People the threat of being outcasted because you don't agree. Revelation 18:3 says, "For all the nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Right, the wine of philosophy, the thought process. All these nations have drunk of it. Now you go to Thailand, full of fucking what they call lady boys. Right. Damn shame, man. You come to America, it's the same thing. India is accepting homosexuals now. It's spreading throughout the entire world, and it's causing problems, man. It says, "And the kings of the earth have committed fornications with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." You see? And the scriptures go on to tell you that the nations are drinking of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the nations are angry. Let me see if I can find that. Revelation 11 and you know what? That's not it. I'm gonna just keep going on this video, man.
American culture is now normalizing the idea that minors can be given hormones to prevent their biological development of their secondary sexual characteristics. Dr. Levine, you have supported both allowing minors to be given hormone blockers to prevent them from going through puberty, as well as surgical destruction of a minor's genitalia. Like surgical mutilation, hormonal interruption of puberty can permanently alter and prevent secondary sexual characteristics. The American College of Pediatricians reports
Secondary sexual characteristics is basically puberty, masculine or feminine natural attributes. You know, basic sexuality.
80 to 95% of prepubertal children with gender dysphoria will experience resolution by late adolescence if not exposed to medical intervention and social affirmation.
Now, when you go in the book of Genesis, right, because he just said 80 some odd percent of people will sit here and figure out exactly what they're with if you just leave them alone and don't give them all this social affirmation, basically egging them on and encouraging them and shit. They'll sit here and go with the right option, and they would just end up just being just regular male and female, searching for the right path, which is a man with a woman. You know, but the scriptures tell you in the book of Genesis that the Most High created all things, and he said it was good. But you let this devil come in the world, he'll start saying stupid shit, and he puts thoughts in people's mind. This is how the devil works. It's by suggestion.
Dr. Levine, do you believe that minors are capable of making such a life-changing decision as changing one's sex?
Well, Senator, thank you for your...
And now you got this damn Decepticon about to just evade the question, you know? This damn Transformer, robots in disguise and shit.
Question. Transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field with robust research and standards of care that have been developed. And if I am fortunate enough to be confirmed as the Assistant Secretary of Health, I would look forward to working with you and your office and coming to your office and discussing the particulars of the standards of care for transgender medicine.
The specific question was about minors. Let's be a little more specific since you evaded the question. Do you support the government intervening to override the parents' consent to give a child puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and/or amputation surgery of breasts and genitalia. You have said that you're willing to accelerate the protocols for street kids. I'm alarmed that poor kids with no parents who are homeless and distraught, you would just go through this and allow that to happen to a minor. I would hope that you would have compassion for Kira Bell, who's a 23-year-old girl who was confused with her identity. At 14, she read on the internet about something about transsexual. She thought, well, maybe that's what I am. She ended up getting these puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones. She had her breasts amputated. But here's what ultimately she says now. And this is a very insightful decision from someone who made a mistake, but was led to believe this was a good thing by the medical community. I made a brash decision as a teenager, as a lot of teenagers do, trying to find competence and happiness, except now the rest of my life will be negatively affected, she said, adding that the medicalized gender transitioning was a very temporary, superficial fix for a very complex identity issue.
Now, at that point, if they said this was a identity issue, why wasn't this person just straight up given counseling first, given therapy and all that? Why don't they see this as being a mental health issue, wanting to be something you're not? Identity dysphoria is something, and now they have it as gender dysphoria, right? So why isn't this seen as a health issue that you somehow, these people who don't feel like that what they are is true, why aren't they considered mentally ill? Because for a long time in America they were, is because now Esau's plan is for them to legit just X out everything in the scriptures. The scriptures talk about there are many antichrists in this time, man. The scriptures tell you get it. This is John 8:44. It says, "You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your fathers will you do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth." So this devil never aboded in the truth, because when you go back in the scriptures, it says Psalms 58:3, it says, "The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies," because this is exactly the devil's MO, man. You know, the truth is grievous to a devil. It says, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh of a lie, back in John 8:44, it says, "Ye of your fathers the devil, and the lust of your fathers will ye do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh of a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." And that's exactly what this devil's existence is just a lie. You see? And now he's made a society that pushes lies, tries to act like it's normal to be so corrupt and destitute in your body. Why are all these people getting confused? Because the confusion that this place brings.
Bad is that you're not willing to say absolutely minors shouldn't be making decisions to amputate their breast or to amputate their genitalia. For most of our history, we have believed that minors don't have full rights and the parents need to be involved. So I'm alarmed that you won't say with certainty that minors should not have the ability to make the decision to take hormones that will affect them for the rest of their life. Will you make a more firm decision on whether or not minors should be involved in these decisions?
Senator, transgender medicine is a very complex and nuanced field, and if confirmed to the position of Assistant Secretary of Health, I would certainly be pleased to come to your office and talk with you and your staff about the standards of care and
Wickedness.
the complexity of this field.
let it go into the record that the witness refused to answer the question. The question is a very specific one. Should minors be making these momentous decisions? For most...
Let me get this. Because that Decepticon just won't answer the question. That was a simple question. Are you with it or are you not? Now peep this. This is Matthew's 5:37. It says, "But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Or for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil." And that's exactly what's happening. You devils are spewing out evil. This is something that clearly you should have just been like, you know what, I'm not with it. But this devil just sit here and goes on another filibuster and avoids the question.
History of medicine, we wouldn't let you have a cut sewn up in the ER, but you're willing to let a minor take things that prevent their puberty, and you think they get that back? You give a woman testosterone enough that she grows a beard, do you think she's going to go back looking like a woman when you stop the testosterone? You have permanently changed them. Infertility is another problem. None of these drugs have been approved for this. They're all being used off-label. I find it ironic that the left that went nuts over hydroxychloroquine being used possibly for COVID are not alarmed that these hormones are being used off-label. There's no long-term studies. We don't know what happens to them. We do know that there are dozens and dozens of people who've been through this who regret that this happened, and a permanent change happened to them. And, you know, if you've ever been around children, 14-year-olds can't make this decision. In the gender dysphoria clinic in England, 10% of the kids are between the ages of 3 and 10. We should be outraged that someone's talking to a 3-year-old about changing their sex.
You see?
I can't.
And this is what happens when the devil gets rule over the world, man. This is exactly what happens. You know, the world goes awry. You got 3 to 10-year-olds getting to choose whether or not they want to chop off their rods. And this is their rods, their breasts want to change their whole genetic makeup. You know? Now, he just said there's no studies on these things. Now, here it is with these people doing this. I wonder what, you know, there's no study. I wonder what the cancer rate is on them. You know? What's the effects of a woman having far too much testosterone? What's the effects of a man having far too much estrogen above what his body's genetic makeup is made to produce? You know? There's no studies on that. And I bet you it's a hella detrimental, because everything this devil does is detrimental. You know, America and these Decepticons got to fucking go. Shalom.